Greetings Wanderer, this is Atlas here and welcome to the Void. Today I'm going to be reacting and breaking down a song called La Signora, Phase 1 and 2 battle theme from GENSHIN IMPACT original soundtrack. This is the winner of one of my latest polls that I did in my Patreon, and as you can see here, it went against League of Legends, Fiddlesticks, the Ancient Fear Champion theme, and it won by a long shot, actually, but quite amount of votes over it, which was quite surprising because, you know, for the most part, I think League of Legends is vastly a more popular game, and, you know, the music in League of Legends, it's really, really good. I really like the K-pop you know, virtual group that they have in the game. It's absolutely fantastic. But anyways, the fact is that Genshin Impact won this. So by that, I'm guessing that the original soundtrack must be really, really good. I already covered one Genshin Impact song before, which is Inazuma, which is, I'm going to be leaving in this card right here, but also in the description of this video, right? But before we begin, I would like to invite you to listen to my newest song, which is a Dark Souls inspired song called Fate of the Dark Lord, which is the song that you have been listening in the background of the intro of this video. So if you like what you hear so far and you would like to hear the full song, I'm going to leave it in this card right here, but also in the description of this video, right? And with that being said, onward. Okay, so let's check this out. La Signora from Genshin Impact original soundtrack. Boom. Okay, you can tell already that it's building up to something. I got some glockenspiel action right there. I really like the strings section here. I like this incremental addition of layers of instruments. I love that. Yeah, I think this is in 4x4. I love the percussion. Oh, that's great. The arpeggios in the harp and panning them from left to right. So good. pretty cool that the counter is in the choirs too, but in a lower register. Yeah. That was a piano, right? Doing the... Okay, this is probably the second phase. Yeah, this is absolutely different. Whole nother tone. Oof. Ho 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 ho. Yeah. The Martial tone is unprecedented. I mean, in comparison to the other one, to the other phase, I mean. Those drum samples came out of nowhere. I mean, they fit, but I didn't see them coming. Gonna have a guitar solo? No way. Oh. That was a pretty cool run, by the way. Great arrangement with the arpeggios in the piano. Singer went nuts there. and the guitar scale run there again. It's pretty cool. Yeah, this part is super ominous. And it comes back to the Martial part. Bam. It has an actual definite resolution, which is interesting. All right, there we have it. I am actually quite surprised that the song ends like with an actual resolution, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have like a loop value or whatnot. You know what I mean? And depending on how you arrange it in the game, you know, you can loop it in a part of a song that is before that, obviously. But in general terms, this song is, I mean, considering that both phases are extremely balanced, because you can hear the first one, which is more of a build-up kind of phase, and the second one, it goes like full-blown, you know, high energy kind of thing. The first part is more of a tension building kind of phase, and the second one is more of a, you know, release the Kraken kind of thing. So we're going to be talking more in depth about those things in the breakdown, so let's break it down. Alright, so for the breakdown, I'm gonna be talking about a little bit about some of the things that I caught my attention the most about the track, which I talked already a little bit super briefly in terms of the difference in between the first phase, apologies, and the second phase, which in terms of the tension and the energy built in the first phase is more about a build up towards something, and you can very much clear in the second phase that it's on, like the Kraken has been released, sort of a thing. Okay, so those are obviously the quintessential differences or the quintessential difference in between the first phase and the second phase. But there are some nuances that I would like to talk about more in depth, let's say. And I'm gonna be giving some demonstrations with my trusty acoustic guitar to exemplify that and talk a little bit more about that, right? Alright, so as you can hear there, that's pretty much what we can hear, the arrangement that we can hear in the strings. It's very straightforward and it goes all along, it's a pattern that we hear over and over and over again. And it's one of the reasons why, maybe this isn't a very unorthodox opinion, I don't know. But I think that, the leitmotif of the track is not really in the choirs and whatnot. It's in that pattern, you know what I mean? Because the pattern that we hear in the first phase, which is that string pattern, that is actually accompanied by by a sort of a Proto-Martial pattern in the snares, is what kind of gives you this prologue, kind of a premonition of what is coming next. Okay, that's part of the build up, that's part of the tension of a track that is building towards something greater than the first phase, of course, which obviously it shows completely in the second phase, of course. Also, as you could hear in the first demonstration that I did, that that goes in between A and G sharp, and yeah, it's very simple, and obviously I think the simplicity adds to the whole thing being more memorable, you know what I mean? Because what I'm hearing in the choirs, apologies, is that there's a lot of variation in it. So there's nothing, at least from my experience listening to the track, there's nothing in the choirs that I could actually hook on, or that would catch. There's nothing like there's no earworms in the choirs themselves. The earworm is in the pattern that we hear all along the first phase and the second phase, which I'm going to be talking later, of course, which is that in the first phase, that Proto-Martial rhythm that we hear in the snares, which is doing this basically the same rhythmic pattern, or for the most part the same one as this, right? And that's the sort of earworm, that's the hook of it. And the leitmotif is supposed to be like, the identity of a track. You'll hear the leitmotif, and that's when you remember a character, or you remember a place in the game and whatnot. But for some reason, for me at least, with my first listening, it is the pattern that we hear, the rhythmic pattern alone. In the percussion along with the strings, because the choirs are doing something else completely that are not as memorable, in my opinion. right, that's the other part that I wanted to talk about, okay? The what we hear at the beginning, at least, because then it changes a little bit, doing other arpeggios and whatnot. But what we hear at the beginning in the glockenspiel is so ominous, you know? And what I can see in it, it's like you have like a buried melody in the whole arrangement, which is like this. It's like very simple, but we have like, and then a minor arpeggio at the end. But you know, this thing is super harmonic minor, you know, and I've talked about minor things in music like harmonic minor chords and whatnot. That's like the dark side of music, you know what I mean? If you want to make something dark, you go the minor route. That's for certain. So it has that like, yeah, that's, I'm gonna say that even the string section is contributing to that, of course. The glockenspiel is such an inconspicuous presence in the song, but the melody that is playing is so, it adds so much to the tension and the ominous, you know, it's describing sort of a dooms-like thing that is about to happen, which is the thing that happens in phase 2. That's the phase that is trying to say a premonition tale or something like that. Okay, so it's, yeah, it's so dark. I mean, I think the glockenspiel thing with the pattern in the strings along with the percussion, it's my favorite thing in the first part of the song, or in the first phase. Apologies. Alright, so as you can hear there, I was playing a little bit of the pattern that we hear in the second phase. This one is more, or I should say, full-blown Martial pattern. You know, you have that pattern in the guitar, in the electric guitar, along with the snare doing the pattern as well. So this is full-blown Martial, military-like, you know, sounding kind of pattern, and it's pretty much the same. How should I say this? It's pretty much the same premise as phase 1, in which the most recognizable thing, in my opinion, is the pattern again. It's the whole Martial thing, because in the first part it's more of a Proto-Martial thing. It's kind of a teasing pattern. It's not full-blown Martial, but it's there, you know, the Martial element is there. And the glockenspiel, along with the other thing, along with the choirs and whatnot, is what it's giving you, the ominous feeling of the first part that is building the tension, but is in a much lower energy threshold, let's say, than the second part or the second phase. And there's also another contributing factor in the first phase, which is that we hear that it's like a gradual, incremental addition of layers of instruments adds to the premise of, you know, the build-up of the phase 1 being the build-up of the whole thing. But now that we are in the second phase, it's more of a blown up, full-on high energy or higher energy in comparison, where I suppose the battle takes, like, you know, the higher stakes of all of it. So you could think that the second phase as sort of you know, sort of climax of a thing, you know, which it completely sounds to me like that. Yeah, there it is. Obviously that's not in the song, but I was just you know, improvising something that goes along pretty much on the same chords. It's like a D. It's the pattern is in D, but I just played F there and D sharp. Yeah. So the other thing is that the pattern, I played it in the guitar in a register, but it's in the song it's played in a lower register, and the same thing goes along with the glockenspiel part that I did. That actually is in a higher register than where I played it, but obviously the guitar, the acoustic guitar has some limitations in terms of the range I can reach, of course. So in this case, I had to do it in a for the second for the pattern that we hear in the second phase. I had to do it in a higher register, but for the glockenspiel arrangement, I had to do it in a lower register because I can't reach the instrument doesn't have that reach in the register, you know. So there you go. Alright, so to finalize my commentary, I just would like to say that at the end of the day, in my opinion, the whole track, the whole brilliance in the track is within the simplicity of the patterns and the congruency of them and the consistency of them along the song. And how it actually, in the nuances of the patterns, is that if that I hear, at least, where I find the most interesting parts of a song. Because yes, the vocal performance, the chorus performance was fantastic and whatnot, and they were very good too. But to my liking, and what I think it's the highlight of the whole song, is that not only that very nuisance, but it's very cool, like the nuisance that there is in making the first phase of a song this very ominous, but having this proto-martial thing going on in there, and then on the second phase actually exploring it completely and making it like a definitive thing along the song. Of course, the track has moments in which you can hear there's you know, there's space in between, you know, the song opens up because you don't hear the pattern anymore. There's no percussion because this is a heavy this song is heavy on percussion. You hear percussion probably for 70% or 80% of the track, but you have moments in which you know, the percussion is not there anymore, so to give more of a dynamic, a spacious, or to create space. That's basically what I'm trying to say. It's trying to create space because it's important to create a balance in between the pattern and something else, you know. And since the patterns and the martial patterns are so imbued in the track, they become way more too predictable, you know what I mean? So what these arrangements in the song that are void, let's say, of the patterns, you know, especially in the percussion, is what gives the song a little bit time to breathe, but also the listener makes the listening experience more exciting because, you know, the pattern is not there, it's missing. So it creates a little bit of a sense of balance in the track, right? So I think I'm gonna give this song I'm gonna give it a golden badge, right? Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and share it with your friend. Also, please don't forget to visit my Patreon, my Ko-fi profile, and my Ko-fi store in case you want to support my work further and my Teespring merch shop. And of course, ex nihilo nihil fit.